What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another segment of the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. I am your host, Kojo Software, checking in from Los Angeles, California. It was a sunny day out here, and it was a good day, relatively speaking. An interesting one. The energy has been interesting. Like I said, we already did a mental health check-in a little bit earlier today on Facebook. And it's about an hour long of a stream, so people can go back and catch that. I was planning on talking about the benefits of having a ADHD autism diagnosis, which is what we're going to do today. But I just wanted to make sure that we could do the mental health check-in first, and then talk about mental health. So if you're new here, my name is Kojo Sarfo. Like I said, I'm checking in live from Los Angeles, California. I'm glad that you're here. I'm grateful that you're here. And I would love to get to know who is here, and then we can get to talking. We're streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok as well. So normally I get my TikTok thing going on my phone, so that way I can just see what people are asking me on TikTok. There we go. Morgan on TikTok says, I am so sad today, Kojo. Morgan, there's nothing wrong with being sad. Whatever feeling you have is valid. So it's okay to be sad. And I've been telling people to express their feelings today, whether it's elation. If you're jubilant, be happy. If you're upset, be upset. Working out, journaling, getting these thoughts and feelings out is important. And I spent quite some time today talking to my family and just checking in on them, make sure that they're okay. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I posted on Instagram. I posted a YouTube video where I talked about everything. We're going to get into the ADHD and autism thing in a second. But I posted a YouTube video. It's like a 30-minute sit-down video where I talked about my thoughts on the election and everything, and being happy that it's over. And I'm happy that we get a 4-year break from the back and forth bickering. And I mentioned in there, I told a story about me working with the White House, the Biden and Harris administration, and being on the White House roundtable and getting to go to the White House. It was an honor. And when Biden stepped out of the race, I thanked him, for the opportunity to be a part of the White House roundtable. And people blasted me saying, why do you support Biden? And I just said, thank you. And then today when I said, guys, we have our new president, let's support the president. And, if you root for his success, you're rooting for the success of all Americans. And people were like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. I never said that. But it's important to support the person who is going to be in office. So it's good for people to get their frustrations out, however, which way. And that's okay. I don't take it personally. I've lost almost 3,000 followers on Instagram today. I have a lot of hate comments. People call me Trump supporters, and I'm going to support the president of the United States regardless. But to get to the topic of what we're talking about today, the benefits of having a diagnosis of ADHD/autism. Like I said, my name is Kojo Sarfo. I'm checking in from Los Angeles, California. I would love to know where everybody's checking in from. And these two people who asked questions, I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions first and foremost. I'm going to give the people what they want. Simon, thank you for your attention. I'm happy you were here in the live stream. Felix, how are you doing? Carla. Oh, Vanessa, come on out. You good?
Okay.
Come on out.
You need a tripod? No.
I'm good. You want to say hello to the people?
Yes. Where's the Facebook?
It's Facebook.
Late Night Show.
The Late Night Show.
The Late Night Show.
Do you know the answer to this question?
Why is it so difficult to get an assessment as
the
an
people
adult?
can't see you. Yeah. Under insurance of autism.
I mean, not just for adults, but for children too, because my brother, he has my nephew, he's on the spectrum, and the cost of insurance and even overall the treatment is very complex. Like, he has someone right now, and I was telling you about this the other day, like, he has someone that was sent by the government like a psychologist, a trained psychologist, to come and help my nephew. And he, this person is just really not helping him. So I'm learning now. I'm becoming a life coach, and I'm learning on my own, like how to help children on the spectrum, like social cues. Like I've been like overall reading a lot, so that way I can help my nephew, because unfortunately it's the healthcare system when it comes to autism. It really is very complex, and it took them such a long time to get him diagnosed in the first place too, which is very frustrating.
It can cost thousands of dollars, and with insurance, things get complicated. I do not think that it should be so complicated to get an assessment. For adults, it seems to be like pulling teeth. Shona on TikTok says, I didn't have an issue getting a full assessment under my last insurance. So it does depend on the insurance that you have. But I do think it's too complicated for adults to get a fair assessment of autism. And that's one of the things that I'm looking to solve. I'm looking to solve that problem as I get the outpatient practice set up. It's something that we're gonna work hard to figure out, because that's a passion of mine. So in addition to everything that we're doing with social media and entertainment, I would love to get a outpatient practice going where we can solve this problem.
I agree. Lauren, for example, like that, she had to pay.
I opted to pay $4,000 out of pocket so my son can get neuropsych testing by private practice ID. If I wait for insurance to cover, I'd be waiting 9 months here in Portland.
That's what happened to my nephew, Lauren. That's literally what happened to him, and it was very frustrating, because now that he's getting treatment, and unfortunately, there's only a few psychologists that the government actually sends. So he requested another one, and the other one was just as not motivated or not caring and that's the thing. Like, if it's very frustrating when there's healthcare providers that don't really care or put in the initiative, especially when it comes to children. I mean, adults as well, but children too is just, it's very frustrating, since I'm seeing it with my nephew.
Yeah, and it shouldn't cost for this. My personal opinion, should not cost $4,000 for an autism assessment. And the neuropsychological evaluation makes things much more complicated than it has to be. And I think this is where those of us from psychiatry can come in and help with an assessment and a diagnosis. But yeah, and with Carol next week, whenever we meet with Carol again, we'll talk about that, because that's the part I'm not good at, like the magic.
And I think also as women, as adult, it's very difficult, because especially older women, for example, premenopause, or women that, postpartum depression, all these things, the hormonal imbalance, the emotional regulation, not only it's not only autism sign, but there are also other mental health disorders that align with that. So I think doctors, not everyone is educated. I mean, I even know dentists, for example, that had no idea what neurodivergence was. That when like they're like, wait, what is neurodivergence? And I even know someone on the spectrum that didn't know what neurodivergent was. I met him. And I was like, oh, neurodivergent fam. And he's like, no, don't try to diagnose me. I was like, wait, aren't you on the spectrum? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and I explained it to him. So there's still a lot of, healthcare providers that aren't aware of this. So I think there just needs to be more research, more study, and also more investment towards it, because especially now that there are doctors and content creators like Kojo that are bringing more awareness, I think there needs to be more research and more studies towards those of us that are neurodivergent, and especially, autism. And now especially that there's autism and ADHD as well, like that was just recently, not too long ago, that was a new diagnosis. So it's like similar traits from both. So I just think there needs to be more research.
I've seen people diagnosed with both before.
No, that's what I mean. I think there needs to be more research and also more education on, for everyone.
Right. And yeah, I mean, not just women with autism, but also the fellas too.
Oh yeah, everyone.
I think it's hard just in general for everybody to get
everyone.
An assessment. But yeah, I haven't announced it, but there's going to be an outpatient practice that I'll get going, and it depends on the states that people are in, but we will work hard to solve this problem. And somebody asked earlier, can a psychiatrist diagnose autism? They can, but the majority of the evaluations are done by psychologists and their neuropsych evaluations. So yeah. I appreciate you. I'm not gonna keep you up.
Good night, everyone. Have a good stream.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. What's up? Quebec in the house. Yes. I want the president to do well. I want us to do well as a country. Charlotte, how are you doing? I appreciate you. Scott, what's up? It does depend on the state, Carla. You're correct. It does depend on the state. Doesn't mean Jedi, this is the main point I've been trying to get across. And I was saying earlier, let's not wait for tragedy until we come together and support each other as Americans. And is autism diagnosed with DSM? Yes, it is in the DSM-5. That's a question I got from Favor on TikTok. It is in the DSM-5. It is. All right, now the 3. Thank you for your patience, you all, and also thank you to Vanessa for coming to give me some of her time. I know it's kind of late. Alaska in the house. Alaska, we're happy to have you, Alaska. All right, so the 3 benefits of having a diagnosis of ADHD/autism. Number 1, you can get the right treatment. And Marjorie Brown, I already spoke about the election results, and I posted a video about it. The long and short of it is, let's come back together as a country and support each other. But number 1, the benefits of having a diagnosis of ADHD/autism, you can get the right treatment. A lot of folks don't know that the first step to getting better and getting help is to nailing the diagnosis. So this is something that we learned in school, and maybe not everybody learned this, but you want to get the diagnosis right, because until you get the diagnosis right, we're throwing like darts, or we're just throwing things at the wall until it sticks. Like, we don't know, is it autism? Is it ADHD? Is it OCD? Is it PTSD? Is it bipolar? Is it borderline? Is it histrionic? Is it depression? Is it, when you don't know what's going on, then how do you treat something that you don't? And Doc Possum, sometimes you may have to switch doctors. It should start with a diagnosis. You got to get a diagnosis first. And if you have an appointment with a provider, a mental health provider, and they're not able to give you a diagnosis, and they can say, okay, maybe they leave it at unspecified mood disorder, at least you're getting closer to a diagnosis, right? But when you get a diagnosis, it allows you to get the right treatment, because now that we know what's going on, let's say it's ADHD, right? Now that we know you have ADHD, I'm not diagnosing you. I'm not diagnosing you, Sam, or whoever. Struggling with memory. I have to. What, Sam? If you've been struggling with memory and executive dysfunction, it could be helpful to pursue a diagnosis, right? But assuming you know that you have ADHD, it simplifies the game for you, because now that you know that you have ADHD, you can start to get the right treatment. And for ADHD, probably the most helpful thing that can be done are the psychostimulants or non-stimulant medications. But medications come in to artificially give you dopamine and norepinephrine, and that helps with executive dysfunction. It helps with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 tabs that you have open on your computer. And I took my Adderall this morning, and I still got 24 tabs on my computer. But it helps when you have a diagnosis, because you get the right treatment, and now you can start to work towards improving your life and getting a system in place. So when you have a diagnosis, you can get the right treatment. Or should I say, when you have the right diagnosis? I gotta say that, because a misdiagnosis can also send you on a loop where, if you have the bipolar disorder, this is a very classic example. If you have bipolar disorder and you're in a depressive episode and you go to a doctor and they diagnose you with depression and they give you an antidepressant, it can push you into a manic episode. So it's not that the doctor didn't do their job. Maybe they could have gathered some more details and did a more thorough assessment. But if you didn't screen them for bipolar, when you're screening them for depression, which everybody should do, you could miss a diagnosis, give them Zoloft, and now they're manic. They're up at night. They're not, sleeping. They're irritable, taking on much more than they can handle. So a misdiagnosis could be as detrimental as having no diagnosis. So the right diagnosis gets you closer to getting the right treatment. Looking at TikTok, somebody says, yeah, if you're on Facebook, I do kind of get to the comments a bit faster. Can ADHD affect my cortisol levels? Burnt chicken nugget 95. It could. Indirectly and directly. There's so many different ways that ADHD can affect your cortisol. It can affect your hormones. And that's why if you have that diagnosis, now okay, all right, I got ADHD. So how does it affect X, Y, and Z? And how does it uniquely affect you as a person too? Let me see. Can Lexapro make somebody manic? If you have bipolar disorder, Lexapro could make you manic. That's a question on TikTok. Jerry says it feels like that all the time. Nicholas says getting ADHD diagnosis and coming to acceptance of it helped a lot for late diagnosis. Nicholas gets the first love of the show here. And the journey of self-acceptance and self-love is one that is a continuous journey. It takes a while for us to sometimes like who we are. It takes a while for us to know who we are. And when you know that you have a diagnosis or ADHD and autism, the diagnosis, what is the diagnosis anyway? It's an explanation for the behaviors that you exhibit. So now you're able to navigate things much more easily because you understand yourself at a deeper level. I'm trying, but it's hard when I'm so overwhelmed. But I'm working on it. At least I can. Right, Doc Possum. At least you can help yourself better now. And this whole concept of self-efficacy is important because as an adult, even as a child, but as an adult, you've lived for a couple of years, and if you're neurodivergent, you've probably been fighting for autonomy in some shape or form. And being an adult and being reliant on other people and external support to get basic functions accomplished and achieved can be embarrassing. So when you're able to help yourself, it gives you this sense of pride, helps to restore your dignity. We still do have to ask for help, but it helps to boost your self-esteem when you're able to do even making your bed, the small things, because you have tangible evidence of, oh wow, I can make my bed. I can do this. I can do that. All right. All right. So this question was asked on TikTok as well. It can and. So see, ADHD is complicated because it affects so many different parts of your life that you might not even think about. And with ADHD and having your brain racing or feeling like with ADHD, there's this common feeling / emotion of feeling like you always have something to do, or there's something that needs to be done that hasn't been done yet. It comes from that executive dysfunction. And the part of your brain, which is responsible for helping you regulate your mood and make decisions, the prefrontal cortex, the part right behind your forehead. With ADHD, that's that region of your brain is a bit smaller, and it's not as it develops later in life. So your frontal lobe develops later with ADHD, so it can be hard to manage your mood. It can be hard to make decisions. It can be hard to get things done in a timely fashion. So if you feel like you're constantly stressed, it's going to affect your cortisol levels. If you're always running from one thing to the next and the next and the next and the next, which is why having a system is imperative with ADHD. So you can understand, okay, all right, I don't have to get everything done in a day, but I can do the priority tasks. And whatever we can push it tomorrow, we can just push it to tomorrow. I'm still working on this. And Jill next door on TikTok says, if I need to be ruin my life. And Favor says there's a thin line between most mental health disorders. Favor, that is true. And in medicine, we have this thing called differential diagnosis. So, like if I'm seeing a patient, as I'm talking to them, I'm thinking of many different conditions that they could have based off what they're telling me. So we have like a bucket list in our head of different diagnoses that the person could have. And because a lot of conditions share symptoms, you never really know until you get more and more and more and more information. Charlotte, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here. You're good. I'm right here. You're good. How do you manage time, business, finances? Jacqueline, with a system. And you don't have to have the most perfect system in the world, but you just got to try, Jacqueline. You got to try. Failing the plan is planning to fail. I know this to be true at a deep and visceral level because there's been times I just didn't plan. I ran out of time, or every time I got hurt. So I do my best to manage time, business, finances, having an assistant, having multiple assistants, and creating a system where it's easy for me to do certain things. So sure, I'll show you right now. I'll show you right now. So right here, I'm working on making more long form content for you all, right? So because I want to make more long form content for y'all, how do I do this? Like I made the 30-minute video yesterday talking about the future of mental health in America, and my thoughts on the election and how we can come together as a country, right? Get my neck pumping. I made it on this camera right here, my Sony camera. I'm not sure what it's called, but I made it on this camera right here. So with ADHD, I know that if things are not simple for me, I won't do it. And not because I don't want to do it. I want to do it, but between the time blindness and the ADHD paralysis and forgetting to do things, and with ADHD, the things that are simple, we tend to gravitate towards that. Like the simple thing, you want to do that real quick. The things that are complex, it takes so much energy. It's like, I don't want to do all this. So what I do is I just make the system easy for me. So right here, I got the camera. When you make a video, it's already on the tripod. All I got to do, set it right here, flip the screen so that I can see myself. I got a backup laptop to help me out. I got a chair right here. Now I can make my video. Make it super easy for myself. And also, with these long form videos, you want the audio to be good. So because I want the audio to be good, I got my DJI audio thingy right here. I'm not sure, but it's charged. Right? You see, it's charged. Take it out. You slap this thing on right here. The audio is recording. If I don't want it to show, I got this right here. You hook it up, put it in. Nobody can see it. You have good audio. So you see how easy this is for me? If this isn't easy for me, nothing will get done because that's just how my ADHD brain works. I gotta make it easy for me. So because everything is here in my system, now I can hop on here and say, what's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be eating 17 jelly beans. And I hope that you stick with me throughout all the jelly beans. I'm going to put it in my mouth and I'm going to have the mic right here so we can make it an ASMR video. I'll make jelly bean videos, but you get the point, right? I made it very easy for me. It's super simple. So that's how I do things. With finances, I have to put multiple reminders on my phone to look at finances because if I don't, I'm going to go over my budget. I like to play guitar. I got guitar practice. I got guitar practice tomorrow, Thursday, right? I play guitar once this week. So I haven't played as much as I would like to play. But with ADHD, sometimes it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? So I keep everything right here. And I can't take this iMac to my room, but I have 3 guitars on the walls. I need to see the guitar, or I'm gonna forget to play it. But now that the guitar is right here, like it's real easy for me. All right, and obviously the capo is right here. So if I need to strum the capo, right? So everything is super easy for me. If not, I'm not gonna play guitar. I just know how my brain is. My backpack. Like, guys, there's a whole system for this. You should have asked this question. Got my Adderall right here. And I have another bottle right by my bed. So when I wake up, the first thing I do, I got my medications. I got water. You got to make it easy on yourself. Just make it as easy and as simple as possible with ADHD. But if you don't know that you have ADHD, you're going to try and overcomplicate things because, for some reason as adults, we just have to complicate things. But you see how simple I try to make my life, which is why when I'm home in Georgia with my family, I get frustrated because I don't have my system. So things fall apart. Yeah, we got low RAM. We got low RAM. Ocean, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Last minute choice to go with the all black, but I like it. Thank you, Charlotte. Right, working with your brain instead of working against your brain. If you have ADHD, autism, you're born with this condition. It's a neurodevelopmental condition. You're born with it. So instead of hating yourself, hey, how do we work with the brain that we've been given? How do we find some type of comparative advantage? A lot of us who are neurodivergent, we're very creative, we're expansive. We have all these different thought processes that lead to amazing things, but you got to give yourself a system. I'm much more observant. Okay. Hey, we got some guitar players in the house. Okay. I thought the pills were no, those pills are needed so that way I can get my stuff done. Oh, Charlotte, I'm always looking to overcomplicate things, and I don't know why. Well, I know why, but I'm trying to be nicer to myself. I've always exhibited making my life easier to work around. I had no idea what was I doing until I was watching some of the ADHD short clips that rocked my world because, right. And when the thing about the first time that you saw an ADHD like TikTok or Facebook reel, your first reaction was like, that's my life. Like you were looking like Kevin off of Home Alone, like, I do that too. I do that too. Faber, can you share the name of your medication? Adderall XR. Dr. T, I use StreamYard to broadcast for brains. I like how you're organizing yourself for yourself. Cheeky Peach, I try and make it simple. Cheeky Peach, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And somebody asked a question, can you avoid getting schizophrenia? Yeah, off topic, but you can do things like avoid, gardening. If you know what I'm talking about, gardening, that can increase psychosis and exacerbate like a genetic predisposition to schizophrenia, but schizophrenia is genetic, like with most mental health conditions. What would you say to someone with autism and ADHD plus BPD and bipolar 1? So Miranda, what I would say to that is figure out how those conditions impact you and develop a system. that limits your natural deficiencies but highlights your strengths. And Tian says, you can help manage your time and finances by daily putting what you want to do hour by hour on a calendar. Yeah, man, I got so many reminders and note cards over here. This place is right here is not clean, this desk. But right here needs to be clean so that way I can put on a show for you all. And I want this to be aesthetic. Literally, I could be in the middle of doing something so simple, then realizing, Charlotte, you got see. I'm gonna get to the third one, but I'm gonna make the third one the second one so that way I can make my point here. The second benefit, sorry, of having a diagnosis of ADHD and autism is you can now allow yourself to be kinder to yourself. All right. Because now instead of saying, oh, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, oh, I'm so forgetful, I'm the most forgetful Mickey Ficky in the world, you can say, oh, I have ADHD, inattentive type. All right, cool. Okay, cool. There's meds for this. All right, cool. Oh, I'm autistic. That's why whenever people throw me off my routine, I get so pissed off. Oh, okay, cool. What coping skills and strategies and techniques can I learn to make my life better? But allowing yourself to be kinder to yourself is, man, this is a transformative thing. For real. It's transformative. It's huge. It's huge. What if you have PTSD and neurodivergent? Someone on TikTok says that. Well, look, if you are neurodivergent, there's a good chance that you have some type of trauma. If not PTSD, some type of trauma, maybe CPTSD, probably childhood trauma. Wellbutrin for ADHD, it can be helpful for ADHD. I've used that for my patients before. I don't hate myself anymore, but I hate how my ADHD sabotaged my life. Maybe we should do ADHD, early onset dementia. So with early onset dementia, so keep in mind that, Sam, with ADHD, it's a neurodevelopmental thing. So you're born this way. You should have the impairments of ADHD. You should have seen these things as a kid growing up. Early onset dementia, you wouldn't really see that in your formative years, right? So they used to not even diagnose ADHD in adults, but now we got it right, because back in the days, like, if you didn't get diagnosed by like third grade, all right, you're done, and now we know more, so we can do more. Doing things the hard way when it's meticulous or last minute. Okay. Black Widow Row, how are you doing? Yeah, I diagnose these conditions myself, like in patients. And in myself, sometimes I think I have certain things, but I try not to like, diagnose myself. I'm like, let me go to my psychiatrist to diagnose me. So by hearing and hearing by, how are you doing? It's good to see you. So with the guitar, and my fellow guitar players will tell you. Oh, and also we got to do a water break soon. Crack my neck so I can get loose. With the guitar, a lot of the chords are repetitive. So look at me. I got this thing stuck in there. So I'm just going E minor, and then C, G, D, E minor. Actually, let me maybe let you see this. Gotta go lower. There we go. Or can this shit go up higher? All right. I was screwed. All right, but like this. So E minor, C, G, and D are common chords that everybody uses. A lot of contemporary artists use it. Country artists use it, R&B. So you can change the cadence of it by choking the string or by like picking it. Right. So She calls me when I'm in town. I pretend I'm not around, but she sees on the screen I am. So here I am, and here I am. And she don't call me one and only. No, she just calls me when she gets lonely. Something I do to get her there to feel better and get well. And then the same chords would be on the way down. On the way down, I saw you save me from myself. Forget the way you love me. On the way down, I almost fell right through. So it's a little different, but I held on to. I was so afraid, deep, going under, but now I got me distracted. The weight of the world feels like nothing. Nothing. Down. You're all I wanted. And down. You're all I needed now. Down. You're all I wanted. You're all I needed. All that I want. I'm sidetracked. All that I needed now. See. Oh, and on the way down, I saw you and you saved me from myself. I won't forget the way you loved me, and on the way down, I almost fell right through, but I held on to you. So yeah, when I pick the guitar up, I get scared sometimes because I'll be on here for 4 minutes. I mean, like 4 hours, and I'm like, damn, I forgot to call my mom. No, I forgot to call my mom back. Healing Disco. I forgot your name. Why I forget your name? Oh, my girl. Why I forget your name? I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm ready for Broadway. I'm ready to go back to Nashville. But good to see you. And yes, this is a hyper focus for me. That's why I'll tell my sister, I'm like, all right, when I pick up the guitar, let me know because I'll lose track of time. And see, look, I forgot the water break. Somebody drop the magic word in the chat, please, so we can do the water break. I forgot. Tara, I got you. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. I forgot your name. I'm embarrassed because I'm like, I had it on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't get it out. Wyclef Jean. I gotta. That's my favorite Wyclef Jean song. Sweetest Girl or 911. He's a classic. Trusted apps. When I find some, I'll let you know. If anybody has any trusted apps with playing a routine, please drop it in the chat. All right, big cheers, y'all. Big cheers. Time for the water break. This is the time of the day that us neurodivergents get to get some water in. All right, drink up. Cheers. Pause for that last visual. Sorry. Going to November. I realize the reason I like yard and snow shovel work because working out gives you dopamine. Right. The sense of accomplishment. Look, this is so important for momentum. That's why just doing something in small amounts, whenever you can do something with consistency, you just feel like I can do this. Or I can do this, even if it's making your bed or journaling. Va boom on TikTok. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just gotta come up, I got, come out and just be human. A lot of professionals, we're not like told to like self-disclose, like you're supposed to be like a robot. I ain't no robot. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. Elizabeth, I'll get your question in a second. Someone said, "Shout out LeBron." I'm weak. I'm bored. That's funny. How do you go forward with life after 29 years? You finally come to a realization you are maybe ADHD and seeking diagnosis, and your family isn't supportive. I was born to African immigrants. Well, Amphas, you asked the right Mickey Ficky. I got you on this one. I also was born to African immigrants. I was born in Ghana, so I was born in Ghana. Like I wasn't born in the United States, but I've spent the majority of my life here, and you gotta realize that for our parents, the majority of their mental stress and everything that they did for us as kids revolved around just survival. Like our parents probably weren't thinking about thriving. They were just trying to keep the lights on. They were just trying to not get evicted. They're just trying to make sure we can get the kids to school and get from Monday to Tuesday and from Tuesday to Wednesday back around to Monday. So if your parents were like mine, we didn't grow up with insurance, and like I knew I had ADHD in 7th grade, but I felt selfish asking my mom to go get checked out by the doctor because you can't focus. I thought it was like silly. I'm like, man, we're struggling to get the bills paid, and I'm out here talking about take me to the doctor. I can't focus. So I just kind of like figured it out, and I became an adult, and then I started to go get the help that I needed. And even today, maybe it'll make you feel better, but even today, my parents don't understand ADHD. They're both in healthcare. Guys, this is as real as it gets. My parents don't understand ADHD. I was telling my dad to be a little easier on my little brother. I'm like, hey, Dad, he got ADHD. So my dad's like, is that why he's lazy? Is that why like he goes to work at the last second? He knows he should know that he has to go to work. What if he loses his job? I said, Dad, that's ADHD. Until there's some type of deadline or some type of urgency or something is novel, we're not going to get the thing done. And he just doesn't get it. And I think that the lack of understanding probably comes from not putting yourself in a position to where you can understand. Because if, as a parent, you're like, my child's lazy, whatever, you're not going to give yourself a chance to understand what your child is actually experiencing. And because ADHD and autism, these are conditions that you can't physically see. You can't see an ADHD Mickey Ficky. Somebody's outside. I'm like, what I hear? You can't see that somebody has ADHD. Let me see. As I said, thank you. 1 second. We gotta pray. 1 second. Give me 1 minute, Vanessa. But yeah, you can't see that somebody has ADHD. So I think that's part of the difficulty, And Favor says, I'm an African. Right. Look, all of us who have immigrant parents, and the thing is, if you're in a wheelchair, right? Actually, if you got crutches, this is a tripod, but let's just say this is a crutch. If you have crutches, right? When you walk around this on your crutch, right? So when you're walking around, people see, oh my gosh, open the door. Catch, this man's on crutches. Open the door. Make sure y'all can see me. You're walking on crutches. Man, you should open the door. This guy's on crutches. Help him out. And of course, you wouldn't be on one crutch. You'd probably be on 2. But if you have crutches, then it's like, damn, man, he's on crutches. Open the damn door, help him up. Help him up. With ADHD, you can't see the impairment. With autism, you can't see it. So it makes it harder for people who lack the knowledge to have basic empathy. Let me see. 1 second. I gotta go pray with Vanessa. 1 second. You gotta go pray. 1 second. All right. Vanessa, you ready? Ready to pray? Oh yeah. I said, ready to pray. I'm so laughing, but let's pray. Oh, I was like, wait, the camera's not in here. Okay, remember the first one. All right. Thanks for reminding me. All right. I had to go pray. My bad. I had to go pray. All right. Now, where was we at? Where were we at? My grammar. Oh, you were born in Ghana as well, Kumasi? Okay. I was born in Accra at Korle-Bu Hospital. My dad's from Kumasi. My dad, my nephew, my dad's side of the family is from Kumasi. That's crazy. That's crazy. If oversharing was a person, it'd be me. Well, Jerry, you got some other overshares in here. I was one. I'm still working on it a little bit, but I was one. Yes, I realized a lot of depression and anxiety was associated with how I saw myself and talked. Ooh, Jacqueline, this is deep. Developing self-compassion has helped me to stay present and do things one at a time instead of being in fight, flight, or fawn. This is the love of the show. Jacqueline, thank you for sharing this. And being hard on ourselves. Sometimes we get a kick out of punishing ourselves. And our brains, the brains that we are born with, they on factory settings, our brains on factory settings are going to look for the negative. Our default setting is negativity and anxiety. So we have to train ourselves to look for positivity and to have an abundance mindset. So thank you for sharing. San Fran. Okay, I was born in Ghana. How much do vaccines and nutrition? All right. So if you're talking about autism, there's no link between the vaccines and autism, but that's still a popular thought and belief. So nutrition, I think, is a genetic thing. These are neurodevelopmental conditions, mean that, for lack of a better term, you're born, you're born with it. Now, there's doing some research into if TBS can cause ADHD. There's a chance that they could. I do believe that there's a chance that a traumatic brain injury can cause ADHD. But for the most part, these are things that you are born with. And Snowball, so I'm on StreamYard, so I see your messages to the right, and I can bring it to the screen. So I put your message here. No, so my family is in Augusta and Atlanta and Nashville. I didn't grow up around the Aiken area, but I've been in Aiken the past couple of months. Very beautiful town, a lot of horses there. And I was gonna ride a horse, but I chickened out at the last second. I'm like, nah. I don't want to ride a horse. Elizabeth on TikTok says thoughts on getting diagnosed as ADHD, but it was actually undiagnosed Asperger's. Elizabeth, I can see that. A lot of times, like ADHD and autism is a great example because a lot of the symptoms are shared. So it's hard to know whether you have ADHD or autism, but you could have both. That's the advantage of going to a professional. They can sort these things out and give you a diagnosis. The third benefit of having a diagnosis of ADHD / autism right here is you can advocate for yourself. You can advocate for yourself. When you know that you are autistic and you know that you're going to need additional support, especially if you're level 1, because this is the demographic, you kind of fall through the cracks. If you're, level 2, 3 autism and you can't verbally talk, people will tend to have, more empathy for you because they're like, oh, look, this person, they're pointing, and then, people, oh, okay, they're autistic. All right, okay, how can we help them out? They're autistic. But when you're level 1 and you appear to be neurotypical, I don't know what a neurotypical person looks like, but you appear to not be autistic. There's no look to autism anyway, but a level 1 autistic individual who needs minimal to moderate amount of support may struggle to advocate for themselves, especially when communication is a struggle. If you don't know that you have autism, you might just think that I'm socially like awkward, or like I'm just like different, but like I can't put a finger on it. And that's where a diagnosis comes in, and it lets you take a deep breath. Say, okay, all right, cool. I got this condition. Let me go research about this condition. And then as you research, you're like, and just off the strength of the internet, you're able to advocate for yourself, and you do so much better. You're like, oh my goodness. I didn't know that exercise could help. I didn't know that learning different coping skills and strategies could help. So that's why diagnosis is so important. So you can advocate for yourself, because if you are neurodivergent, I believe everybody, myself included, you're going to need some type of external support. And figuring out what that support is a big key to you thriving in life. Because we're not just here to survive. F that. We're trying to thrive. We don't want to survive. We want to thrive. We want to thrive. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Okay, what's up? Instruments of Praise on TikTok. And Va 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 Boom says, how can I make sure I don't mix the next live on here? So Va 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 Boom. This is the live stream I do every Tuesday. I've been working on becoming more consistent. I'm being honest, it's been a struggle for me. And I have assistants who they get me to come out here at a regular time. At a minimum, I'm supposed to come on this live stream like this every Tuesday at 6 o'clock West Coast time, California time, which is where I am now, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So if you're in Atlanta, New York, it should be 9 o'clock. Tennessee, 8 o'clock. Arizona, 7 o'clock at night. But even this live stream, I started this live stream 2.5 hours late. So I'm still working on my timeliness, and I will get better. I'll get better. And also, I want to stream more. I want to stream more. Streaming on StreamYard allows me to hit Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, which is really cool. I do believe that the platforms kind of want you to stream on their platform. Like when I stream on TikTok specifically, like if this is TikTok and I'm on my phone, TikTok will allow my stream to go out to more people because I'm kind of being more loyal to their platform. And when I'm on Facebook specifically, it goes out to more people. Same thing with YouTube. So I will be experimenting with different live formats, but my goal is to live stream more because I'm dropping content, but then I need to engage with y'all and see like, all right, like, are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Like, and also like feel people. Like I want to feel y'all in a non-creepy way. Like, I want to feel y'all on TikTok. Boom. Thank you. If you follow on IG, that'd be helpful. If you also join the free Discord group, my assistant drops the updates about when I go live there. So that's probably the best way to get updates. I'm going live to join the free Discord group. So I'm happy you said that, and I appreciate your support on Instagram. Yeah, Mary, you're right. Mary, you're right. Just breathe. Just breathe. I gotta breathe. My favorite area of practice. I don't want to say psychiatry. I don't think that's the answer you're looking for. I ain't got a favorite. Inpatient, outpatient, like both. Neurodivergent conditions, I like that. I like dealing with mood disorders like bipolar and depression. I like dealing with thought disorders like schizophrenia and schizoaffective. So it's kind of hard to pick up. I want it all. I want it all. So my degree is a DNP degree, so Doctorate of Nursing Practice. So that's a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and I stayed in school an extra year at Augusta University to get my doctorate. Good question. If you're new here, good question. I appreciate y'all too. Big Girl for Life. I appreciate you. And let me see this question right. I'm only really here because I don't know if I could have ADHD or not. I get nearly everything with it, but I can't go to someone. I just can't pay myself. Can't go alone. And Snowball, if you identify with ADHD, for example, there's nothing wrong with identifying with a condition and learning about it, so you can start to get some of the coping strategies, and you can learn some of the things that can be helpful for you. For example, with ADHD, if you take a stimulant, it helps you. It artificially gives you norepinephrine and dopamine. So now you can focus a little bit better. You can start things and you can see them to completion, right? But even without medications, Snowball, if you believe you have ADHD, getting all of your, let's say you're going to do like a group assignment, or let's say you're going to work on a project, right? Getting everything you need and sitting down can be almost just as helpful as meds, right? I need the sound thing. I need my wallet. I don't know why. I need my notebook. I need a book. I need a pen. And I need some water. If you sat down with everything at the desk and you only got up to pee, you could get the thing done, because with ADHD, once you get up, you get up to do one thing, you might be cooked. Like you're working on something like, did I trade Christian McCaffrey on my fantasy team? Like the most random things would like throw you off. It was like, I forgot to get the trash out. Or was it, I was supposed to call my grandma. Let me call grandma real quick. Call grandma. And it'll be 7 hours before you get back to the work you were doing. All right. So getting everything that you need and sitting down to do the work. Those are some of the small strategies that can make a big difference. Mary, I appreciate you. I'm just happy to be here so I can help. And question, is there a way to combat selective mutism when trying to advocate for yourself? Struggle with that, a lot of putting words out to the world. So I think that there is, if you're struggling to get words out, realize that words account for 25% of communication. The majority of communication is not done verbally. It's done through body language. You can point. You can gesture. If I'm like this, if I'm at the airport and y'all see me like this, I don't really do this. I don't think I have a stank face at the airport. But if I'm at the airport and y'all see me like this, you probably won't come and talk to me. Like, that's communicating that I'm tired, I'm fed up, like I'm not really interested in talking. That's not really how I am, but like that's what the message is communicating. And if I'm like this, maybe I'm watching a football game, I'm excited, but I'm communicating something to you. Or if I have duct tape over my mouth for some reason, and I'm like, I want you to come over here. I want you to bring something to me. I'm talking to somebody like, hey. Yeah. You don't have to use words to communicate. Or sometimes just tapping my foot. I'm anxious. Or even just doing a sigh, like, like emphasis. Let's say you go on a date with a girl, right? You're having the time of your life, and you look across the table, and the girl's like, yeah, I'm doing good. She's communicated to you that, I'm not really having the time of my life, right? You can gauge it from the body language, the demeanor. So when the words aren't working, try and turn that frustration into fascination. How else can we communicate? And if worst comes to worst, write a note. There's so many methods of communicating, but obviously when you can't get the words out, probably the fastest way to communicate. So when you can't get the words out, it is frustrating. It is. Not Al says, diagnosed last year is good to have answers. Man, it's good to have answers, ain't it? And so I heard that phrase from Jim Rohn, the motivational speaker, and I loved it. Because now when I get frustrated, instead of being upset, I'm like, where's the opportunity here? It's changed my life. Mary, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you for the good energy from London. We will take that here in the States. We'll take all the good energy we can get. Theo is okay. Theo is I never heard of him. I'm gonna write the name down. Check him out. Theo was all right. I get going in a second, but let me see. It's me, Mrs. Doe. Okay, all right. A 10-year-old child diagnosed with ADHD, GAD, ODD, DMDD, expressive receptive processing disorder, sensory processing disorder, and OCD. Why wouldn't a physician diagnose autism with these symptoms? First and foremost, this is a fantastic question. I think a lot of healthcare providers, physicians included, are not either comfortable diagnosing autism, or they don't consider autism when it comes to a differential diagnosis. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Like, you look at somebody who's exhibiting some signs that they could be autistic, but if you never consider the fact that they could be autistic, you're going to get this a little GAD, a little ODD, a little DMBD, expressive and receptive processing disorder, sensory, but I completely agree. If these are all the diagnoses, you should be thinking about autism for sure. 100. And I'm not saying the child is autistic, but you should definitely have autism within the list of differential diagnoses. So you should think about it as a potential option if they have all of this. And then also at the same time, when a 10-year-old child has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these diagnoses, what I was trained to do by my mentors, he's been doing psychiatry for 40 years, to find a diagnosis that can better explain the majority of somebody's symptoms, consolidate things. Because a lot of times, this could just be ADHD and autism, or this could just be autism by itself. And it makes things simpler. And the first point in this live stream was, hey, getting a diagnosis is important because it dictates the treatment plan. It's pretty hard, to drive with no destination in mind. You got to have a GPS. You have to know where you are and where we'd like to go. Schools can't help. I forgot to add social. Yes. So egg diagnosis at 10 years old please get a second opinion. I would most definitely get a second opinion, because what a lot of providers do is maybe, let's say you came in and you brought your son in or daughter, and they already had 3 or 4 diagnoses. Sometimes the provider will take the first 3 or 4 and then add on, but you're supposed to consolidate, and you're supposed to find a diagnosis. Like, you should look for a diagnosis that could better explain everything to make things easier. But I mean, a lot of people, it's just band-aids, just slapping the band-aid on something, rip it off when they feel like it, and that's the issue with healthcare today. A lot of it is just band-aids. You're not really trying to get to the root of the problem. It's just band-aid. Here's some Abilify. Get home safely. Some doctors suck, and I ain't the best. I'm pretty damn good though. I ain't the best, but some doctors don't. I think you suck as a doctor when you don't put in an effort to learn. Because I don't know everything, but wherever my knowledge runs out, it's my responsibility to educate myself. How can I get better? How can I learn? As long as I stay curious, I'm always going to be a good provider. But when you think that you don't need to learn anymore, you're good, that's when you're cooked. No problem. My pleasure. I'm happy I saw that. Do you have any advice and support for individuals with neurodivergence in an environment where surrounding support do not know, understand, believe in the conditions? Yes, I have some advice. Look into at least one person in real life. Find at least one person who supports you. And a lot of folks don't have that. And the next best thing would be an online community, whether it's a Facebook group, whether it's somebody you met on a live stream. Like, these live streams would be, somewhere where you'd meet people who, struggle with some of the same things. But it's important to have your experience validated, because if not, you're gonna feel like you're, like out of place, or like you don't belong, or you just feel like you're out of sorts, and sometimes that can lead to hopelessness and helplessness. So it's important to have your experiences validated. I realized that I could be going on with my life routine, taking my meds, and then there's one thing, whatever it may be, a detour or speed bump, then it's like a house of cards falling. Why does that happen? Maybe because of my depression. So, Charlotte, it could be a you thing. It could be situational. It could be something that comes from a diagnosis. We're talking about autism. A lot of times when an autistic person's routine is thrown off, at least a lot of frustrations, which is why it's always good to tell people on the spectrum things ahead of time. Like, hey, tomorrow we got to switch things up because we got to go to the doctor's appointment first, then we go to school. But when you just surprise people with it, like a lot of parents sometimes, will throw a surprise birthday party for their autistic kids, and then the kids are like, yo, what the hell's going on? And the parents are like, it. And the kid's like, this is way too much. Nobody gave me a heads up. But I'm not saying that's what it is. But sometimes when we have difficulties regulating our mood, small detours, can throw us off, because it can lead to, a deviation in your mood. And a lot of the things that happen externally in our worlds come from what's going on internally. So hopefully that's helpful. I found being diagnosed with each individual symptom of autism, but doctor refusing to simplify. That's one reason. Yeah, a lot of doctors are afraid. And I think it comes from feeling like they don't think that they're competent enough to diagnose a person with autism or ADHD. And if they're not competent enough, or they're not comfortable, then they shouldn't diagnose you, but then they should refer you to somebody who could help you get a little closer to a diagnosis. Cameron from Ohio, what's going on near Columbus? I appreciate you. Are you? Okay. I'm assuming your name is Cameron. EMDR. So I'm not EMDR trained, but I've heard a lot of people say EMDR has been very helpful for their trauma. So I definitely believe that there's some efficacy behind it, and it's worth a shot. The reason why we have all these different tools and tricks, and we got medications, we got EMDR, we got ECT, we got TMS, you got ketamine. There's so much that we can do, and I like the fact that we have options, because options helps to provide people with hope. Because if Zoloft didn't work for you, all right, cool, you got Prozac. If that didn't work, all right, cool, you got Lexapro. If medications didn't work, okay, cool, we got TMS. We got ketamine. All right, we got ECT. Oh, none worked for me. Let's try EMDR. All right, let's try lifestyle modifications. Let's try exercise. Let's try changing your environment. We never run out of options. We never run out. There's always hope. We always will have someone we can go to. Like, all right, cool. That didn't work. Move on. Now we have more data on you that these things didn't work. All right. Let's tweak things. We keep trying. 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 Jerry, I appreciate you. I found background and commentary. And look, this is part. If you know that you are neurodivergent, or you just know that this helps you out, you're collecting data on yourself. I rarely ever stay in the house without like some type of noise. I either have Vanessa, well, she's always here, but like I need some type of stimulation, or else I'm like, I'm like, I need something, right? I need something. And community is key. Yeah. And that's why I thank y'all all the time, because my online community, y'all been rocking with me for the past, 4 or 5 years. So like, I appreciate y'all. It's never like, oh, only 20 people show up to the live stream today. Only 30. No, like whenever I go live and anybody comes, man, we're here. We're in the moment. We're live. I appreciate y'all. And Charlotte, thank you for your attention. I'm doing TMS inside therapy right now to build up. Oh, okay. And look, you gotta be proud of yourself, because at least you're trying things. The relief, the improvements come from doing. And doing doesn't guarantee that we'll get the outcome that we want, but it does guarantee that we get data on ourselves. If TMS and psychotherapy is the magic sauce, all right, cool. All right, now we know. If it's not, okay, now we know that didn't work. We move on. So you gotta give yourself some credit for doing. Diagnosed last year and good to have some answers. Now, thank you for your attention. And Faber says, what's the difference between PD and bipolar? You mean like BPD? BPD is a personality disorder, and bipolar is a mood disorder. So the fluctuations in BPD come from your external environment, and those mood switches and okay, yeah. So BPD, the mood fluctuations in BPD can happen over moments to hours or days. And it's normally because of something that happened. Oh, my boyfriend, my girlfriend broke up with me, my dad, my mom was upset with me, and now I feel like this. Bipolar disorder, the mood fluctuations come from mania, depression, or hypomania. And these are mood states that can last days to weeks, sometimes months. And it's an internal thing, for lack of a better term. It comes from a lack of sleep, or normally your sleep starts to kind of go down, and then you go into a manic episode, and you can have rapid cycling bipolar, like 4 episodes a year. So bipolar can cycle as well, if you have 4 depressive or manic episodes in a year. But to make it simple, with BPD, the mood fluctuations are quick, they're rapid. And it normally comes from something that's externally, something that happened outside of you that made you feel a certain way. Whereas, bipolar, you got stressed, had a heartbreak, did a lot of cross-country traveling. Now we started to compromise on sleep. Now we became irritable. Now our decision-making and things like that started to not be the best. And then, you can have psychosis and bipolar. You can have it also in BPD too. So yeah. Know it all, RN. Happy to have you here. Happy to have you here. Let me reason then get the last question. January seeking community. Right. Ah, it's from the UK. Well, see, look, that's the beauty of the internet. You are in the UK. And look, I used to date a girl from England. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, but she was from Hackney. So you know where Hackney's at. And I was like like early college, like late high school. So like I would keep track of the fact that from Georgia, where I was at the time, we were 5 hours behind people in UK. So like I have to account for that and get the calling cards or whatever. I'm in Los Angeles now, so I'm like 8 hours. This is like an 8 hour time difference. So the fact that I can be here on the live stream from my living room and connect with you in the UK is a marvelous blessing. That's so damn cool. That's cool as hell. That's cool as hell. That's cool as hell. It could be. It could be. Sometimes I feel like that, and sometimes I'm like, oh, ADHD is the worst. Let me ask this question then. Okay, all right. I gotta get to bed. But how do I keep my emotions in check for anger management? Alejandro, can you elaborate? Like your ex is making you frustrated? And favor on TikTok, no problem. I appreciate you. Your ex is like upsetting you? Alejandro, what are we talking about? If that's what you're talking about, then I would say you got to work on. All right, okay, for example, give me an example. All right, give me an example. Put it on me. I'd like to know what you're talking about so I can answer this question accurately. But managing your emotions is a life skill, essential life skill. Asperger's. Another YouTube live. Let's see. I go off of a tight schedule. Yes, I do have ADHD. Big Daddy, Big Daddy 1131 on TikTok asked that. Yeah, I do have ADHD. Another YouTube live. I gotta see what my assistant. I gotta see what Vanessa put in my schedule. But it's true. I'd like to go live tomorrow morning, but I don't want to overpromise. But I'd like to go live tomorrow morning. Get me up in the morning, get going. But at a minimum, I do a live stream once a week, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock California time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, 2 a.m. UK time, Wednesday morning. And I did it late today, but I'm working on my timeliness. All right, so if I understand that question correctly, Alejandro, Asperger's, trying to keep your emotions in check with autism. I think that's what you're asking. All right, so the key here is figuring out the best practices and the best ways for you to regulate your emotions and your mood. First of all, you have to understand what emotion you're experiencing. A lot of autistic individuals struggle with something called alexithymia. So like you don't know what you feel, or you're not able to like gauge the type of emotion that you're feeling. So it's a whole lot of I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do I feel? Like how do I feel about this thing? Like it's like a whole lot of I don't know. So having data on yourself and recognizing that okay, when I clench my hand, I'm starting to get upset. All right, cool. I'm getting upset. The first thing is to know I'm getting upset. Jabari, no problem. I'm getting upset. All right. So how do I position myself for success? All right. I'm going to remove myself from the situation. Oh, it's those people that claim to be my friends who are my friends that piss me off. All right. I'm going to spend a little less time with them. The first step to winning is not losing. So you put yourself in a position to where you can account for some of the things that would send you over the edge. And then even with the best preparation and planning, things will piss you off. That's just life. Things will just piss you off. Things are going to make you frustrated. Things are going to make you want to feel like you got to pull your hair out. But checking in with yourself, DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, which is one of the things that I think should be taught in school, can be very helpful. And my favorite concept in DBT is radical acceptance. When we see things for how they actually are, I feel like it helps, keep away feelings of depression. It helps us process things, because a lot of times when something happens and we don't like it, we want to be in denial. So let's say girlfriend cheated on you. Damn, it's really that bad. Damn, my girlfriend cheated. What? Shit, I met my mom, met my family, met my boys. Wow. Wow. I was getting married. Okay. Wow, she cheated on me. She cheated on me. And you process the situation for how bad it is. It really is as bad as you thought it was. Cool. Yeah, she cheated on she cheated on you. And as you process that, you realize that, okay, this is bad. It's really bad. It's as bad as you think it is. But on the other side of that is peace. And you're not slowing down the healing process. You're not denying, all right, cool, all right, cool. All right. All right. So she did that, and it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. That's more of what's going on with her. All right, cool. You process the emotion. Now, how do you want to move forward? All right, okay, she cheated on me, so I'll say and forgive her. If you want to do that, sure. Or you're like, you know what, yeah, I think this is a good 1.5 year relationship, but she broke my trust, and I'll move on. Move on. And then you move on, but not being able to understand that your girlfriend cheated on you and you're pissed AF, like you're pissed off. If you can't process your emotions, you're gonna have this anger, and you're like, she cheated on me with who? She spent the night over? Like, did she, like like that's, as guys, that's our worst fear. Our women, like imagining, our ladies, our wives, spouses, girlfriends being intimate with somebody else. That's the type of stuff to make you to send you over the edge, right? So if you're not taking time to process your emotions, you're like, man, like I'm gonna fight him, like I'm gonna go to his house, I'm gonna bust him up, I'm gonna fight this guy, or you want to go scream at you ain't gotta do none of that. You could just leave. You could just leave. Someone says, "Is men being insecure?" I disagree. On um on TikTok, I wouldn't say it's men being insecure. Men also, deserve the space and time to process their emotions. And if you're a man and you get cheated on and you leave, you're not insecure. You're that's the decision you made. I think that decision should be respected. All right. Oh yeah, it is a man's worst nightmare to be cheated on. What men fear is, imagining that happen, and then what women fear is, imagining your man telling another lady that he loves her. Both things, tend to drive us crazy. And yes, you can have bipolar along with ADHD, ASD, Hackney. Yeah, I hope she's doing good. All right, bye here, bye. I hope I can get a live stream going in the morning. Radical acceptance is key. All right, yeah. So I do have to get going, get some sleep, and hopefully I can get to streaming in the morning. I can stream more if I can keep these streams like within an hour. So I'll be working on that. But this was a great live stream. This is my first late night show stream in like 3 weeks. I'm finally back here in LA. I'm grateful to be back. Got a birthday coming in a couple of weeks. And I'm getting older, I'm getting wiser, and I'm so grateful for life. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be breathing, and I'm so happy to be here with you all. So thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate each and every single person who's here. I love y'all with all of my heart, and I will see y'all soon. Y'all have a great night. Peace.